Yo, welcome back to Sinister Customs. Today we're going to check out Notorious, see how he does with the new dually setup. Got those mofo UPW wheels sitting on the LGRP Swamp Kings. Some Flubber Stuffer inserts in there, or I guess Flub RC inserts. Also got the Flub RC skids, running the Gunner's RC Garage body armor. Got a Grizzly Works luggage tray and some luggage up there, along with that Tinker Time drop bed. Grizzly Works rear bumper. Moving around to the front, got the Mofo grill and the Mofo front brass bumper. Now moving on to the inside, got a little fan up there, keep that Mofo powder keg nice and cool. And that's just bolted on an old school Fury Tech Komodo mount. Any of the 370 mounts, I think the Fat Viper, any of those will bolt up. I think it's like 12mm pattern. Then we got two 2S 300 mAh Palm Power LiPos going to a 60 amp Dinky ESC to power all that. The little 25 amp would cut out, just couldn't quite handle all that power that the powder keg needed to move all this weight. The Servo beast can sure move all this weight. I've tested that plenty of times. That thing is an absolute beast. And underneath, to add all the weight, is all this brass X15s, brass TRX 4M portals, all mofo. Got the brass links, DN drive shafts, brass skid, brass TRX 4 portals on X15s up front too. Oh yeah, and I've got brass island spacers in all those wheels, so it is an absolute beast. Well, here's what we'll be crawling, so let's check it out and see how it does. Again, this is my first time crawling with the dualies. I've done triple, so I've done, I don't know what you want to call those, but 3 wide before, and that was with the old setup, so that was like the first gen Servo beast. And then yeah, I was running the slow-mo pancake SMP and a 25 amp Dinky ESC. And I mean, it would do it. It would struggle the whole way. This thing doesn't struggle. This thing, with that 60 amp Dinky ESC in there, and then running at 4S now, like power wise with motor wise, it does not struggle one bit. And the servos do damn good for, you know, having all that weight on the front axle. I'm definitely surprised at how well that's been handling. But this is my first crawl, actually trying to crawl something, you know, with a purpose, with the dually setup like this. With the 3 wide and with the old setup, it was kind of like just wherever it would go, if it would power through it, it would power through it. You had to keep in it the whole time. With this, I can slow crawl. This setup is by far the most powerful setup I think you can get for an SCX24. But yeah, it's just like if you haven't seen the video, this setup will, well, okay. So the video with it pulling me in a wagon, that was with a 25 amp ESC, and at the end it cut out, and that's why I stopped. With this 60 amp, I don't think it'll cut out one bit. I think it'll keep going like it is now, just trucking along. Nothing gets in its way, nothing stops it. But yeah, this thing is just absolute beast. It does struggle a little bit with getting hung up in some areas, that kind of thing. I mean, it's not really built as a conch crawler, if you'd say. I just built it to be the absolute heaviest and most powerful I could make it, not really caring if it would actually crawl anything. I want to pull, push, do all that stuff, just be absolute badass. Yeah, next thing I'll need to get back to doing with it is putting the double shock back on it. I'm just running the single shocks now, and I miss the double shock. I need to get back those, get those back on it, and then I'll be happy with how it is. But I think I'll take the dualies off. You'll see what happens here at the end of the video on why they are not necessarily good for crawl. They put way too much weight out at the very end of all that and put too much of a strain, and this motor is just way too powerful for that. Like, unfortunately you won't exactly see because the video kind of blurs out, but I think I got it enough on there where you can see what happens. So we'll wait till we get to that point. Just stay tuned and enjoy the crawling. Going. actually racing this over after filming it quite a while ago. That got stuck. See, that thing's got some power. It's on top of the flow crawl. It's still got plenty of wheels. Again, it's moving. Now there's 300 grams per set. That's 600 grams on all those wheels. Oh, here's where it happens. And again, when you guys get stuck, you feel like you're gonna break something, you don't want to break it, pick your rig up. Don't try to push through. You will break something, especially when you're putting this much power into these tiny little parts. Here it comes. Oh no, not quite yet. I thought that was it. No, I want to try pushing the shock first. It is right in this spot though where I got hung up. There it was. That was it. That was it. So I just shot the gears in the servo.
Only have steering one way.
So if we watch again, we can see exactly what happens. I don't turn the steering. I just try to power out, and the motor pushed the steering and broke the gears in the servo. That was all the power of the motor just breaking the servo gears. I mean,
not good,
dude.
Only have steering one way.
An absolute beast. So luckily, the motor and everything inside the servo still works. I think I just broke the gears. And Mofo does sell a replacement gear set. Oh, there, it broke it free. So I'll be getting a replacement gear set for that. Seeing how that does, but I think the motor inside is just fine. I think I just snapped the gears. Just real quick, little mail call Monday. 3 Flow 9. Got those Mofo X15 roller steering. And rear skid. Yeah, baby. You're sitting around 1,349 grams. That's with batteries and all. Big boy. Alright, so now that gives you a little bit of an idea what we're working with here. So we got the Mofo X15s, and of course the Servo Beast. You saw that guy lose its gears. So with X15s and the portals and the dualies, it sticks us out stupid far. And if you know anything about leverage, the farther out you go away from the power supply, the more leverage you have being put on it. So when it was getting pushed just on this side of the wheel from the motor trying to push it forward, it just gave way and broke the gears inside of it. That's just because of how powerful that motor is. I mean, it really has nothing to say about the gears in the servo. They're all steel gears. I mean, you're not going to find any stronger gears in this small of a servo. That's just saying something about the power getting pushed behind it. But let's also look at what else we got going on to accommodate that power and not break anything else. So the Mofo X15s, you can't really see it in here too well, but I happen to have one tore apart. You can see just how beefy those shafts are. I mean, they are a monster. So those are the fronts, and you can see the CVD inside there, universal joint, and like even at the farthest I can put it, there's really no binding. It's pretty smooth all the way except for where the housing, you can see it's got the flat spots. Since I'm actually rubbing up against the side, that's where I'm feeling those flat spots in the housings. But you take it right off to where you're not rubbing, I mean, that thing's just as smooth as can be. And so that's where you're going to get all your steering angle from. Because it doesn't matter how far it can turn if your axle shaft is not going to turn with it. So that is a major point on those. And then these portals, so with the X15s, they also come with the same knuckle, C-hub, whatever, as the TRX4Ms. So you can run the TRX4Ms, the portals and everything. The shafts are wider, but they're wide enough that they're TRX4. So that's the same axle shaft and everything that came out of the Mofo TRX4M portal housing. So it just went right in there. I'm not 100% sure if other portal housings will work for the TRX4M, but the Mofo ones do. And that's where I got the brass. Of course, that's going to cost you a lot of money getting a whole separate set of brass axles just for the portals, but that is what I ended up doing. I actually got a hold of the Mofo and got some that somebody sent back, and they needed drilled out because they broke off a couple bolts or a couple of screws in them. So I got those drilled out. I actually didn't do one of the back ones. I just left it and said, heck with it, it's running it. We'll see if it breaks. But yeah, so that's what I got. And then the back, where's one of the back drive shafts? The back drive shafts are even beefier than the front ones. I mean, they are massive. So those are definitely not a weak point in this build. The axles are probably the strongest point in this build. Going from there, you've got the Mofo drive shafts that have the D ends on them. Can't get in the camera view, but you have the Mofo drive shafts that have the D ends on them, so they match up perfectly with the ends on the axles and the ends on the transmission. And speaking of transmission, I didn't talk about that. We have the Mofo brass transmission, and I don't believe he offers them anymore, but he used to offer what's called the bomb-proof gears instead of bulletproof, the bomb-proof, which are mod 5. And so that's what's inside that transmission. It's full mod 5 gears, pinion gear, spur gear, all the transmission gears, full mod 5. Things I want to go over. One is the Mofo dually setup here. So that is what it looks like, which is the single on it. You only put 3 of the bolts in your hub, and then the other 3 go through the dually setup after the wheel is bolted on. So you got to bolt the wheel on first, then bolt the other 3 through those holes to the hub through the wheel, and then you've got the little backing there, and you do 3 shorties through those, or in my case, because I'm running the island spacers, I got to do 3 of the long ones, and then you line the other 3 up with those 3 holes there. You can start that center one there, in the center one, to help get everything lined up, and then you just kind of move it around where you need to, bolt the other ones on, and then you have your dually set up. But yeah, that is how that works. To get into the 4S a little bit, because I never really talked about how to wire that up. So you can wire batteries up in series or parallel. I always get them mixed up on which one's which. One is running the positive and positive straight in, and with the negative and negative straight into the ESC, and that will up the mAh. So that will take this from, these are both 300 mAh, that'll take it to 600 mAh, whatever. Then running it, I believe it's parallel, where you run, how I have it here, you have the positive from this battery running over to the negative to that battery, and then the negative to this battery running to the ESC, negative, or the positive from that battery running to the ESC. That's going to up your actual cell count, or so that's going to, instead of, it's going to basically make these 2 2-cell batteries into 1 4-cell battery. That's how the cells inside each one of these batteries are connected to make, so you got 1 cell, 2 cell, that's what makes it a 2S. So you're ultimately making a 4S. And then, yeah, the dinky 60 amp ESC, which is massive in there. I think I've got one of 25 amp. Yep. So, there we go. That's the comparative. So there's this 25 amp, which is what I was running before. This does great. It just can't put out this. I think this needs 40 amps, I believe. So this just wasn't enough. When this was asking for full power, this couldn't quite give it. This can give it more than it needs. So it's working perfectly now. You'd rather have to tune down than try to tune something all the way up to the max. But yeah, this would do great until I put it under extreme loads. Then it didn't want to, it would just cut out. But I could still slow crawl with it. I could still go crawling with it, all that kind of stuff. Just anytime it got under an extreme load, like when I was trying to pull myself with a trailer, that kind of thing, that's when it would start to cut out. This one here, I need to get it all, well, I need to get the servo fixed. But I need to try that again with this and see how far I can actually pull myself with a trailer in it, not overheat and go dead on me. But it didn't actually kill the ESC. It just overheated, blinks out, and then you gotta let it reprocess, and then it'll go again. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that I missed. Oh, got the carbon fiber Mofo LCG Gladiator chassis. That's what it's all sitting on. Yeah, but I think that pretty much covers. Got the aluminum front mounts. Oh, see, there's always something I can go over that I've done to this that may be a little different. So if you're having problems with the servo hitting your mounts for your bumper, just mount them on the outside. So you can see I'm just running it on the outside. Full clearance of the servo. No problems whatsoever. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I talked about the heavy brass hubs that are in there. These things are massive. Oh, for the fan, it may look like there's no airflow, but I've actually got the little vents cut, or the windows cut out from behind the rear vents. So it gets plenty of airflow back there for that fan. And yeah, I think that's it. I have it just running on an SL2 or SL3, SLT3 controller. Yeah. If you got any other questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all those places. So, hope you enjoyed it, and have a good one. Till next time.